Hello friends, myself Prateek. In this session we are going to discuss assert statements for enforcing preconditions. Let us start this session. In previous sessions we have enforced preconditions by using if conditions. And in these situations, if precondition is not satisfied, the function is returning false. There is an alternative way to enforce preconditions. An alternative way to enforce precondition is to use the concept of exception. It means if precondition is not satisfied, the function will raise an exception instead of returning false. And to raise an exception when precondition is not satisfied, we can use assert statement. So assert statement is used to raise an exception when precondition is not satisfied. And the exception raised by assert statement is of assertion error. So my point is that instead of using if conditions to enforce precondition, we can use assert statement to raise an exception. So whenever precondition are not satisfied, the system raise an exception error, and that exception error is called as assertion error. And this exception error is raised by an assert statement. So assert statement test a Boolean condition and it raises assertion error if condition is false. And if condition is true, the assert statement does nothing. So we can code our preconditions with assert statement. And if the condition is true, assert statement does nothing and our code executes. But if the precondition is not satisfied, it raises an assertion error. So this is very simplified way to enforce preconditions as compared to use if statements. So exception actually raise an error whenever precondition is not satisfied. And this is precisely what happens when Python interpreter display and type error or value error, because whenever these error occurs, it abort the program. So in the same way, when assertion error occur, it abort the program and it raise assertion error. So let us discuss this with an example. So let's suppose I have an age variable with the value 21 and I want to enforce a precondition with assertion that age should be greater than 0. You can specify this condition like this. So the code is assert age greater than 0. So if age greater than 0, it does nothing. But if age has a value in negative and you write assert age greater than 0, so this condition will return false this time, and if this condition return false, it will raise assertion error. So you can easily enforce preconditions by using assert statement. Simply I can conclude that if precondition is satisfied, it does nothing, but if precondition fails, it will raise assertion error. You can build a Boolean expression for your preconditions with assert statement. In previous session, we have enforced preconditions for our grade remark function. We are passing the value of grade, and based on that it is enforcing some precondition that grade should be of int type or float type, and grade should be greater than 0 and grade should be less than or equal to 100. At this point I am giving you an assignment that implement preconditions for this function with the use of assert statement. Earlier we have enforced preconditions with the help of if condition. But now this time I want to enforce these two preconditions with the help of assert statement. So we will be discussing its solution in the next session, but I request you to please take your time and implement this function by enforcing all the preconditions with assert statement. So please watch next video session for its solution. Thanks for watching this video. God bless you.